dive into that. But, one thing I always start with is childhood, because I'm a big believer that what has happened in the past or how we grew up or things that have happened play a big factor into our business now, currently, and moving forward.
Yeah.
So tell me about you growing up. What was life like?
I was not the Katie everyone knows now. I mean, a little bit, but I was very uptight. Just had to have a 4.2, had to follow the course, stuff like that. But I grew up in the industry. My mom's my principal broker, and her father started the business. And so I really didn't know anything else. I stapled brochures, and we had the old thick MLS books, and you had to print a picture and tape it to the MLS sheet and mail it in to get stuff put in the MLS book, and pulling weeds on vacant houses and shoveling vacant driveways, doing all the things. So that's all I've ever known. So you just do the work that needs done, and keep on trucking. And, watching my mom work so hard as a single mom realtor, there were sacrifices she had to make that are necessary in this industry. And I get that. And so you just kind of learn to keep on trucking and keep on working and have a sense of humor. And, my mom is a great example. Anyone who knows her knows she's, I didn't fall far from the tree with that one. So she's an interesting lady, but she's a great role model. I mean, just showed me how it was done, and that, don't worry about what people think. That's them, not you. And just keep doing what you do.
Now, growing up, I had Thomas, I'm trying to think of if there was anyone else, Thomas Hamrick on here, and his mom was a real estate agent. And, for him growing up, he was like, there's no way I'm getting into the business. Was it the same for you, after seeing everything, or was it like, no, this is what I'm going to do?
It wasn't. I just had a different plan. So again, I was a super nerd, tested out of all math at OSU, 4.2, graduated left a year early. So my plan was, my grandfather worked for Chase Manhattan in Manhattan. The whole Croccos are outside of Manhattan in Jersey, and he worked there forever. And my original plan was to have him get me a job at corporate, and the Cowboys were his corporate account, and I was just going to go do corporate finance and just a numbers lady. And I got into the Fisher College of Business, but not the College of Finance.
Interesting.
Yeah, with a 4.2. And I was never someone who needed a plan B. So I was like, now what? So I'm in the Fisher College of Business. So I just go down the list. And I was like, well, I'll have a job. So I did real estate and urban development. And honestly, I think it was just the best mistake that could have happened. While I would have been fine in Manhattan, I can straddle that life as well as ride a four-wheeler. I really get to help people in this line of work. And that makes me whole. That brings me joy. It worked out. Although I was very pissed about it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Look, I get it.
Really? Seriously, Clark? So I that was rough, because I always just got whatever I wanted because I worked hard and put in the time, and no idea.
Yeah, it's interesting as I get to interview people and kind of hear their story of how they eventually got into real estate, of these opportunities that were like, no, I was going for this, but something happened, and that's the one thing that made me pivot, right?
Right.
For me, I was going to Ohio State for accounting, failed calculus, and
I could have helped you.
Yeah, I probably needed it for sure. But that moment, I then switched majors, and then upon graduating, I was like, look, if I'm going to sell season tickets for the Blue Jackets or the Crew or some other baseball team or whatever the case may be, I might as well get into real estate and sell something that's worth a little bit more.
Listen, you sold tickets. I was Louis the Land Shark. Do you remember our indoor lacrosse team?
No.
No, the land sharks. So you're so young. I don't know. That's fine. So we had them for a couple years at Nationwide, and I was the mascot.
Oh, there you go.
So I didn't have to sell anything, but I got to dance around in a shark costume.
What made you want to do that?
My boyfriend was on the team at the time, and they needed a mascot. And I'm like, in, done.
She's like,
old.
Here we go.
I'll do it. I get to be ridiculous. Sign me up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it's just funny. Like you said, our life paths take us all these different places. I'm sorry. Why do accounting? You do not need calculus.
Dude, it was it was one of those things where it's like, why? And at Ohio State at the time, I went 07 to 11. And
right.
At the time, it was, I don't know if it still is or not, but it was a requirement for accounting. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to try accounting and do a business minor. Then accounting at the time was online. And I'm like, nope, this doesn't work for me either.
Right. Right.
So, it's just, and then, I got into real estate, I ended up taking classes 3 weeks after graduating. And, I've been with my mentor ever since, but it's one of those things where it's like, I didn't get into OSU in the beginning. I had to go to OSU Newark, and then I transferred my sophomore year, and then failed a class, and that changed that. And it's just always interesting when, I hear, of other real estate professionals and their journey. It's always, stepping stones or things that are making them change.
I feel that's important because in this line of work, your ability to adapt and pivot is really important, because that's what we do day to day. So those paths that you take, getting to this point and being able to adjust and being able to make moves and do it successfully gets you ready for this line of work, because that's all we do all day is pivot and redirect and do this. And I think it's funny you having the accounting background and the math background, because that's also all we do every day. If you figure every client we have is basically a math story problem. If you have this financial situation and this logistical situation, what time do the trains meet? Like it, that's really all this is. And psychology, you're hugging and buying cheese and cupcakes and wine, whatever does the
I missed that class in college.
Yes. I'll tell you though, I waited tables for 8 years, and that prepared me more than anything for this industry. More than anything.
For sure.